Barco violin concerto. So they start to learn that in third grade, which is a good place to start. So we're playing Baroque violin concerto rhythm with Twinkle, Twinkle in the Skies. And then we'll play Twinkle Little Star. So we'll hear the high voices of the violins first. So violins, will you please stand up? Which is the middle voice, like a big cousin to the violin, and then we have a large deck of cellos and two double basses. So we have the whole family of instruments here today, and we are going to play Twinkle variation. We call it down pony, up pony, and Twinkle thing with low voices. I'll grab my viola and join you. All right, ready, toes? Go on, everyone. We're going to play, of course, all musicians have to learn to play scales. It's very important. Scales and arpeggios. It's like what most songs are made of. And that we all play our first scales in our first year of strings. First scale the violins learn is the A major scale. And we're going to, but there's lots of fun ways to practice the scale. So we're going to play this scale in a round, otherwise known as a 10. So we're going to start with playing it in unison, and then we're going to play it as a round. I'm just going to split up the pieces of pie real quick. Okay, Vega, we're going to link this team straight down the middle, all the way down to Chris. Team 1, raise your hands. Team 2 is Sydney and Eliza. We're going to lead team 2 right down the middle. And team 3, River leads team 3, all the way down to Clover. Jay, we're team 3, all right? But we'll do it first in unison. Are you ready to unison? All right, here we go. Unison. And our bows are going to all be going flat through your shaker. Go on A. Unison. 1, 2, here we go. So we're going to play on violas, cellos, and bass, double bass, a beautiful little springtime tune called Lightly Row. Just imagine getting on that river and floating down this weekend, maybe, when it stops raining. Okay, violas, if you know Lightly Row. Cellos and basses. Double basses way up in the distance there, but we can still hear you, basses. All right. Are we ready? Okay. Introduction. inspiration. So we all learned Mary Had a Little Lamb, kind of a nice easy song. So stand up and sing everybody. And then we decided on the D string, we decided to do another animal, so we chose Mary Had a Little Dog. And you might even hear it really far. And then on the G string, what's the G string, guys?
Mary had a little goat.
Mary had a grumpy goat. And then some of us who have C strings, violas and cellos, we're going to play Mary Had a Curious Cow. And then you're going to hear a flock of chickens. The chickens are this technique called pizzicato, where we've got the chickens. And then, kids, watch me for clock all 10. We'll do the percussion and singing. Don't stop yet. You've got to watch me. I'll lead you, okay? So let's start with Mary Had a Little Lamb. One A. to talk among yourselves for a couple minutes. I'm going to have my wonderful helpers help the third and fourth graders bring their instruments back to the library and put them away. Then we do a very short set change. So thank you, you did a super job. Let's give them another round of applause. So this first piece of music, it's time for us to start over something. My shoes stand open. 7 minutes stretch. So this piece, Ode to Joy by Beethoven, very famous, beautiful piece, was picked out by one of our students. Could everyone please quiet down again? And so this is a piece where we don't have a conductor. I'm going to go to my viola section. We have 4 violins, 2 violas. All right. So every Tuesday morning, at the crack of dawn, there they are, usually right before me, knocking on the door, come, let's play some fiddle. So we've been working on a little set. The first one is called Old Jim Clark, and the second one is called Floppy-Eared Mule. And I asked if they'd like a backup, and they said yes. So we hired a student and Mr. Fox to come backup for us. And I'll take this microphone away and get my fiddle and join you.
Thank you.
be biased, but I think string instruments has got a ton of versatility where you can play anything from rock and roll to fiddle to classical. And then we have a new idea here. We have our cello choir. And there's nothing better. We seem to have quite an explosion of cellos. Of course, we have a cello. I'd like to thank from the bottom of my heart all of my mentors, these kind community, talented, hardworking community members who come in to play with us in our ensembles and inspire the kids. We have Jaja over there. Raise your hand. And Steve Aiken on cello. On bass, we have Stu. And in the violin department, we have Alice Carver, who plays violin. And of course, our wonderful piano player, Amy, who plays with us forever. She also plays violin. And Mr. Fogg, thank you for joining us today. And don't be more of Mr. Fogg for joining us for orchestra. All right, without further ado, as they say, I'll grab my cello and go join the choir. a Scottish fiddle tune called Margaret's Wedding, and then Ricky doing it and finish with Star Wars.